Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. That's the theme of the show, all right? Feeling feisty today, all right? We had an indie world, and I got stuff to say, and we also have the first ever price drop. This is a big deal, but somehow it's just gotten all weird. So get ready for a very interesting show. What's going on, everyone? I'm Zach from SwitchForce. I hope you're doing well. If you're new here, hello. You picked a great time to jump aboard this ship. I got up at 6 a.m. for an indie world. Okay, let's move on. Hit that like button if you enjoy the video and get some snacks ready because this is gonna be a day, and get your keyboard fingers ready because I wanna hear what you think too. Plus an update on Hollow Knight Silksong. So this show has everything you need to know. Let's first go to Team Cherry, who are the fine folks behind Hollow Knight Silksong. I told everyone Hollow Knight wasn't gonna be at the indie world, and it wasn't at the indie world. I warned everyone, it wasn't there. Team Cherry, though, has recently said something, and it's been uncovered that they said what we all want to hear. The Chair Bears picked up an award at this Unity Awards Fest. They won Most Anticipated Game for, of course, Hollow Knight Silksong, and they said, "We're honored that Hollow Knight Silksong won the 2021 Unity Award for the Most Anticipated Game, and hugely appreciate all of the fans who support us as we work on the game. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to the day we can share the game with you all. It can't be too much longer. Surely. It can't be too much longer, surely." Now, I don't know who Shirley is, but I do love that this game can't take much longer. It really can't. We've waited a long time, and this to me is Team Cherry saying, like, you know, it's coming out soon, and we're gonna tell you about it at a real direct, because we're too big for Indie World. Remember, this has ballooned and ballooned and ballooned and become a very vast, big adventure, its own game. A hornet is ready to sting, and I think it's gonna happen soon, but thank goodness they're not saying, like, we're taking our time. The game will be released when it's ready. We've had issues during this tough time. They just said, it can't be too much longer, Shirley, which is great. And if your name's Shirley, hi. So that is exciting news, and I think we can start getting a little bit revved up for that. Now, Nintendo, it seems, is maybe revving up for their next console. Yesterday, we did a full video talking about how President Furukawa said no comment about a new piece of hardware this fiscal year, and why that is so odd for him and so odd for Nintendo, and actually might say more by not saying anything than if he actually said something. Anyways, he also has talked about transitioning from the Switch to the next console, and how they're very worried about that. Because if you remember, Nintendo went from very successful systems and then struggled with the follow-up. The Wii was insane, and the Wii U went way down. The DS was insane, and the 3DS was really cool, but it also had some bumps in the road, some big ones, when it first came out. So Furukawa says the question of whether we will be able to just as smoothly transition from the Nintendo Switch to the next generation of hardware is a major concern for us. To help alleviate the risk, we're focusing on building long-term relationships with our customers. While we will continue launching new software on the Nintendo Switch, we will also provide services that also use Nintendo accounts and other IP outside of gaming software. We intend for this to help build a lasting impact with our customers. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but do you know what I think builds the best bridge between one console and the next? The same console. The same dang thing, and that's why a Switch Pro or a Switch 2 or a Switch 4K makes the most sense for Nintendo. Yes, at some point they'll probably get away from Switch branding, but maybe they won't. What if they just keep the Switch forever? What if they never split the platforms again? What if they don't go to something different and instead they just continue to upgrade the model? If you look, Nintendo is really the only one of the platform holders that massively changes up their hardware from generation to generation. I mean, the GameCube is vastly different from the Wii, it's vastly different from the Switch. It happens very, very giant jumps. Whereas PlayStation is like PS2, 3, 4, 5. It's just a bigger, beefier PlayStation. Xbox has made some changes along the way, but it's really just like a stronger, better graphics, more powered Xbox. So maybe Nintendo can just keep the Switch and transition with graphical upgrades, with performance power boosts, and not really change the central features. Then they don't have to worry. Honestly, I think that would make all of us happy. It would keep a unified ecosystem. It would ensure that our libraries continue to work, and it would just be fun to see the Switch continue into better and better graphics, into better and better performance, and what all they can achieve for our portable and home console lives smushed together. I don't know about you, but I think this is the way they should go. And I think the idea that Furukawa had no comment about a new console really seems like that is what they're thinking too. Now let's talk about that big old price drop you saw in the title. All right, the Switch has been consistently $300 since it was born. Same price. And that is very odd for Nintendo. So today when we woke up and saw a price drop going around, it made waves. Okay, if you look back at the history of Nintendo's consoles, they have never waited 6 years to change the price. All right, the Wii changed price after 3 years, and the Wii U changed price after 1 year, and gosh, the 3DS changed price the same year it launched. Meanwhile, the Switch has been $299.99 until today, where multiple retailers, including Amazon, Walmart, and GameStop, all dropped the Switch to $259.99. Now, this was for the OG Switch, but not the oldest Switch. It was a red box Switch with the neon Joy-Con, and it was $40 off, bringing it to an only $60 price differential between the full Switch and the Switch Lite. Now, $300 is already cheaper than any of its counterparts, but $260 is like a phenomenal price. And so it was weird to see this happen out of nowhere. Yet it was one day after Nintendo Financials, so what was going on here? And then everybody reported on it, everybody picked it up, everybody was sending it all over, and then it disappeared. So no official word came out, and the price jumped back to $299. Now the Switch has never gone this low, as I mentioned. Never. Not Black Friday, not pre-Christmas, not post-holiday, not when they were worried, because they really never have been worried. It stayed $300. So it seems like this was just testing the waters and seeing what would happen, and apparently it sold insanely well. Now, as far as I'm aware, demand for Nintendo Switch is still incredibly high, and it seems like the component shortage is something that's going to last, according to Furukawa, maybe forever. But this was an interesting move, and it made the Switch the most affordable it's ever been. Now, I know it's kind of a bummer that it's gone and that it was gone so fast. Did they sell more than they anticipated? Or what went on? This wasn't a mistake because, like I said, it was across at least 3 major retailers, Amazon, Walmart, and GameStop. Why did this happen? And will it be back soon? Now, I think the real question here is, how does Nintendo officially plan to handle this? Because if they were to price drop the Switch this holiday season, I think that would be very beneficial. Now, obviously, they're gonna sell no matter what, but if you can get this down in the $250 range and say this is a home console handheld hybrid that's gonna play Gen 9 Pokemon, you know Scarlet and Violet is on its way, and it's gonna play Breath of the Wild 2 sometime next year, that is almost impossible to ignore. The Switch Lite could maybe go down a bit as well. Maybe the OLED could come to $300. And we talked about that when the OLED first launched, that $350 seemed a bit high for just a shinier screen. But if they could get the regular Switch down to $259 and the OLED moves into the $299 slot, now you can much more highly recommend that snazzy OLED for the holiday season. And the Switch, you can get a second one. You can get one if you've been waiting for a discount, 6 long years for a discount. We'll have to wait and see, but this was fascinating because it's never happened and because Nintendo has never gone this long without a big price drop. Were any of you able to grab one of these Switches at the super sweet price? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know if you'd pick up an OLED if it hit $300. If it went down to the normal price of the Switch, would you be more tempted to get in on that bright, fancy screen that, yes, does make a notable improvement, but probably isn't worth a full $350 new purchase? All right, look, I know that Indie World felt like a bad reason to wake up at 6 a.m. Man, I got up early for that thing. And I know a bunch of people were bummed because they were like, where is the big title? Where's the one more thing? Heck, where's a game that we have even heard of? Because it felt like it was a lot of unknowns. I'm going to dive into this deeper because I think there is a serious problem with Indie Worlds, and I think it's like on both sides, if that makes any sense. Anyhow, I did want to highlight a few games that I love from the show, because I do think that Gunbrella is the next big thing. I think Gunbrella just gets it. Sometimes you see a game and you're like, I don't know, but I need that. I don't know why, but I need that. And Gunbrella it seems like it's got that sauce, okay? It's got the sprinkle of the secret sauce that is gonna make something special, and I love every second of that trailer. I also think another Crab's Treasure has a chance to be very special as well. And I think this is going to be a game that does the impossible, which is take a super goofy, silly concept and yet be amazing. Most games that try this end up being more fun than good. They end up being kind of ironic, or they end up being just something to mess around with. Think of like Goat Simulator and things of that sort. This game is trying to be silly, but yet it seems like it's got the gameplay, the pedigree, and the intentionality to be a strong title. That is something I don't know when we've seen elsewhere. Silly crabs, trading shells, fighting with undersea creatures, yada yada, grappling around, but it's good? But it's like Dark Souls? I don't know. I have a lot of faith in that company. Those two dudes seem like their heads were in the right place about this game. The graphics look really nifty. And I'm so bummed it's 2023. I want to play with crabs now. I want to play with crabs this year. This year feels like a good year for crabs. And I hate eating seafood, so you know what? I'm going to protect that crab. I'm not going to let him get beaten. I'm not going to let him get eaten. And I hope that the game is really strong. I also thought that Wild Frost looked phenomenal. I'm a big card game guy. I've been really into Roguebook lately. I love Slay the Spire. SteamWorld Quest is S tier. And this one from Chucklefish looks good. And it's actually coming out this year. Phenomenal art style and kind of a structure that seems very similar to Grindstone, which is a great little puzzler available on Switch and also mobile. Wild Frost is coming to PC and Switch in winter, so that's going to be, December or something, but it looks very good. And I think that trifecta, plus some games that resurfaced a bit like Cult of the Lamb, look really darn nifty. And everybody in chat was telling me that One Shot is an awesome game. I looked at the Steam reviews, and yeah, it seems like an awesome game. So let me know if you had a favorite from Indie World. I know it wasn't the show, and I know there are problems. I promise to address those. But now, my friends, let's go to the poll and address what you have been thinking. Last night I asked, what do you think Nintendo's no comment means about the next Switch console? And a lot of you are non-believers. 68% of you think that it means nothing, no new console for a while, but I showed you in that video how Nintendo never says no comment. So I agree with the 24% who think a Switch Pro is coming early next year. I really do. I really think Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 and the new Switch will launch side by side. I think that's what Nintendo has been gunning for a while now, and I think maybe their plans were shifted because of all the production issues, all the shortage issues, and now they finally have a feeling that they can make it come together. 8% think a Switch Lite OLED, and I do think that is a very interesting wild card. A Switch Lite with a better screen could be very appealing and could kind of catapult the younger audience market, the second Switch of the household market. So I don't want to rule that completely out. But I do think it means something. I do think Furukawa knows what he's doing, Nintendo plans and preps everything, and their no comment says a lot. But of course, I'll say more tomorrow on Good Morning Mario. Thanks for spending some of your day with me. I do truly appreciate it. I hope you guys are all doing fantastic. Staying safe, staying healthy, staying happy, staying positive out there. And until next time, my wonderful people, thanks again. SwitchForce, out.